Could it be now? Lynn, did you do something
Hello.
with your hair today?
What?
Did you do something different with your hair today?
I put it back. No poop.
Oh, me too. Look, I have a man
Yeah.
bun. Yeah. I put my
Yeah.
hair back too.
Yeah. I was just like one of those days. I'm like, no, we're going in all in today. Put the hair back. Right.
Mm. Maybe I'll do a show with my hair down. I did that with my daughter last night. Pretty fun. It's kind of goth or early mid 90s. It's not a great look. But anyway, what's happening? What's shaking, bacon?
There is a lot of crap going on in the world right now.
Oi, as my people say. What's happening?
Yeah. So here's what I want to talk about today. So we've been doing a lot of talking about, as Ben Eubanks calls them, sit down jobs, right? Because
Hmm.
we're in them. We operate around them a lot. We have a lot of conversation about what it's like in these kind of what we call kind of those professional layer jobs. And yes, we know that's been difficult and challenging. There's a lot going on there. I want to take a peek under the covers of some trends we're starting to see bubbling up to the surface and what again Ben calls stand-up jobs, right? So these are people who are like making the world operate on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, they keep it moving.
They keep it moving, and there is just a lot of angst going on at the moment. I want to talk about things that just happened this month, so you can get kind of a sense of how globally we've got kind of an undercurrent of angsty
Well,
concern.
let's talk about our friends up north in Canada. What's happening up there with their post strike?
Oh dear Lord. Okay, so if people who don't know this, Canada has challenges too. People, um,
No.
I know. God forbid we talk about our friends up north, but listen, their postal workers walked out on November 15th. They said they
Mm.
had unsafe working conditions, there were stagnant wages, kind of all those standard things are not working for us moments. It disrupted mail service nationwide. It just had huge
You know,
implications
you know,
publicly.
you know what's interesting too. Even in this day and age, mail is so important. The postal service too. Like
Right?
obviously, when things went from, I mean, email was the biggest disruptor to the postal service, big time, obviously. But people still send stuff by mail, and they rely on it, right? Especially rural areas, right? There's still mail. Certain things have to be sent physically.
Right, and we forget about this, right? I mean, I forget about it all the time. I even forget to go pick up my mail half the time because there's
I,
nothing
I
in
like I like checking the mail. I'm old school. I like going to the mailbox. I like being surprised by the crap and the bills that come in.
Yeah, I yes, that's it. I don't the only people who are sending me crap in my mailbox are people who could not get a hold of me virtually, and that's because I didn't want to talk to them.
Yeah.
That's in my mailbox. So
Well, I mean, there's more than that. I mean, globally too. I mean, you have the Canadian postal strike. What's
yeah.
happening?
Okay,
Italian.
and
I've been
the
caught. Side note,
Italian.
I've been caught in one of these. I forgot what they call it. I've been caught in a pop up strike in an
Uh,
Italian airport and a French airport, and they were awful. They did like a 3 hour strike. It screwed everything up, and they know what they're doing because that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they picked the exact moment to do it on, right? So they had two significant strikes in this last month. One, a 24-hour local transport stoppage on November 8th, and a general strike on November 29th.
Awful.
Again, they know what they're doing. They pop them up at these very specific moments. If you have ever, I mean, I used to live in Europe and spend lots of time spending my weekends, kind of a little quick weekend trip
Oh,
over to
you're
Paris,
fancy.
right? I know I'm super fancy. However, go wandering around. I always feel bad, right, for the people who like plan their big life trip and they show up at the Louvre and it's like they're on strike. It's not happening today.
Strict.
But this happens constantly. So they use, particularly in Europe, the labor movement is really good at leveraging these real key spike moments to create visibility, right?
Mm.
Little angst, little visibility. Okay, we don't like that anymore. Let's go see what we can fix in that space. But it's not just overseas. We're seeing it happen now in the U.S. more as well.
Yeah,
So
the hotel strike, right?
yeah. So their U.S. hotel workers striked in Boston, San Francisco, Seattle, all along these same things: poor
No
wages.
towels for you. No fresh towels for
No towels.
you.
Yeah, poor wages,
No
poor
housekeeping.
conditions. Right, but it's all similar messaging that we're hearing here. Right, there is a lot of just overall frustration about rising costs that are not wages that are not keeping up with them. A kind of dismissal of what it takes to do these jobs on a day-to-day basis, and people are really trying to hone into this, and it's going to be a challenge for us. And consequently, we don't always think about the long-term implications. But you mentioned the mail strike issue, right? So people are still using their mail. right? They need to be able to have access and get to it. It also, when we have transportation issues, we're going to start having global supply chain issues. Anybody feel like going back to COVID global supply issues
Oh,
again?
that was fun. We were doing construction on our kitchen, and we had a door come from China, and it literally took a year. It took a
Right.
year, and then when it got there, this is the best part. It was hinged wrong. We had to get a new one. The door was wrong.
Oh my
It
God.
screwed everything. We literally waited 2 years between the time we ordered it to the
Yeah.
install was 2 years.
Yeah. Right.
Thank God we had another door in our front door. We had our old door, but
Yeah.
otherwise, it was
Yeah.
painful. So
Ridiculous.
what does this mean? Like, what are we looking at in 2025? I mean,
So
it's
I
an
think
effective way for work side. I mean, like, it's an effective way to disrupt and get your voice heard as a group of workers.
it absolutely is. And I think we just need to be aware of that. But I think that what we need to think about is the underlying reason of why is this happening, right? There is we are in a, I call it kind of the perfect storm moment. You
Hmm.
have economic disruption, high levels of massive migration happening across the globe. You have changes in what work means, how work is done, how much technology is supporting work. All these things are happening simultaneously. And you have an entire population of individuals in these stand-up roles who are now struggling to find what does tomorrow look like,
Hmm.
and how do they survive today. And it's going to get louder, I think, and more pervasive. And we shouldn't be surprised by it. I mean, we
No,
need to be thinking forward about it, right? As a sitting in the TA space, we need to be thinking about what are the consequences to the ability to manage and put people into roles that are going to be sustainable and long term. How do we transition people who are going to have to operate in these multi-job gig sorts of environments? What does that look like for them? And how do we do it in a way that allows them to survive day to day?
there's a lot going on here. It's fascinating. It's also how it's going to affect the U.S. workers too. When we think about different roles that are unions or uh, industries that are trying to unionize.
Hmm.
No.
There's did you, I mean, have you heard about the potential Amazon strike?
Uh-oh. Please fill
Right.
us in.
Right. So there is I think there are about 20 different locations who are looking at setting up very much like we just talked about with the Italians and the French who do this very often. One of these pop up strikes during the heavy delivery and shopping season that's coming up. It's a potential, right? And what they're saying is very much the same thing that we're hearing across the globe, which is um, yes, I may be here to do a job, but you have to pay me something that I can live off of.
Yeah, working wages. We appreciate that. Any more key takeaways before we keep this one rolling?
I think the biggest thing to think forward here is I think we got to keep our eyes open. We got to be watching these larger economic trends, these larger consequences, and be thinking about what does that mean to how we start building out our strategies going forward. It's not going to be like it was 3 years ago. I just don't think we're going to see that same world again.
Fascinating. Elaine, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Okay, this is going to sound silly. It is pearled onions, creamed pearled onions. It's my aunt used to make. I know people love it or hate it.
What is that for anyone out there? Not the little onions you're talking about, right? What's
The little ones. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love those.
Pearled onions, creamed, lovely with a lovely cream, a little Parmesan cheese, and they're very good. Lovely.
You might have to send me that recipe, and I'll have my mother-in-law
Yeah.
or a nanny make that. They both like trying new. I love pearlized onions. My not Thanksgiving related, but again talking about my Eastern European descent. I
Yeah.
love anything pickled. Have you had pickled watermelon? It
No,
is
you
so
pickle
good.
watermelon?
Pickled watermelon is delicious. Pickled mushrooms are delicious. Pickled pickles
Pickled
are
mushrooms. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All over that. That's like an Italian charcuterie board dream, right? Pickled
Oh,
mushrooms, little
but the
pop.
pickled watermelon is one of those things you don't think about from a flavor profile. But let me tell you something. There's like properly done, and the watermelon has to be in season. That's a big thing because it can't be like early or late season watermelon.
Yeah, you're starting to see the look on my face. I'm immediately starting going through all of the ways and how do you even pickle watermelon? I'm okay. I'm on the hunt now. I'm going to figure this one out, and maybe that goes onto the Christmas cooking bonanza because we can
Uh,
get one out here still in Arizona. It's not like.
I love it. So let's keep this show rolling. You can catch Allyn every Tuesday with the Smart Recruiters Global Report. Allyn, where are we going to hang out? We're going to hang out. We next in Vegas. When are we hanging out? TA week. Where are you going to be?
Oh, geez, I don't know where I'm going to be. Listen, we're playing a big company thing, so that's happening in February. I think I'm probably going to swing into Transform, but it may just be, may not be the whole crew. Maybe me and a couple of friends.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Everyone. Please check out the Global Report. Our friends over at Smart Recruiters. We appreciate our partnership. Allyn, thank you and have a great week.
You too.